Hi, my name is Diva and welcome my YouTube channel. Today I share a story. The name is Question Can Broke the Silence. The storm over the city roared like a wounded giant. Rain hammered the streets, the wind whipped through the narrow lanes, and people rushed under roofs and shop shades like frightened birds seeking shelter. In the middle of this chaos, a small cafe glowed like a warm sanctuary, soft lights, fogged windows, and the quiet hum of life protected from the storm outside. Inside, at a lonely corner table, sat a man, eyes tired, shoulders heavy, heart bruised. Arif, a single dad, a man trying to hold together the pieces of a life that had shattered 2 years ago. His daughter, Mila, only 8 years old, but her laughter had stopped echoing through the house ever since the accident. The wheelchair had become her world, and guilt had become his. Today he had escaped the hospital paperwork, the job uncertainty, the suffocating weight of responsibility, only to end up here, alone with his thoughts, staring into a cup of coffee that had grown cold. Then the cafe door opened. A gust of cold air rushed in. And with it, a small wheelchair. A thin, fragile girl, maybe 13 or 14, rolled herself slowly inside. Her legs lay motionless, resting like they had forgotten life long ago. She looked around for an empty table, but the storm had driven every passerby into the cafe. Her eyes stopped on Arif. A lonely man, a lonely table, a lonely world that matched her own. She hesitated, then steered her wheelchair toward him. The soft squeak of the wheels on the wooden floor carried a quiet kind of courage, like the voice of someone used to being ignored, yet refusing to vanish. She reached the table, paused, and in a gentle, almost trembling voice asked, "Can I share this table?" It was such a simple question. But behind it was a lifetime of rejection. Arif froze for a moment. Her eyes held a tiny spark of hope wrapped in fear, like someone who had learned to expect a no, long before she ever heard one. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, of course, please." The girl let out a breath. She didn't realize she had been holding and adjusted her wheelchair into place. For a few seconds, silence sat between them. The coffee machine hissed behind the counter. Rain tapped at the glass like fingers trying to be let in. The girl pulled out a small diary. Arif watched her, then finally asked, "Are you here alone?" She nodded. "Yes, my dad is working. He told me I might get scared, but I wanted to prove I can do things myself." There was pain in her voice, and a quiet kind of pride. "You're brave," Arif said softly. She didn't smile. She simply looked at him with an unreadable calm. Then she whispered, "People don't see my courage, you know, they only see my legs." The words stabbed Arif's chest. Because he knew what it was like for a child to suffer because of the world. And for a father to bear the weight of it. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lara," she said. "And yours?" "Arif." She looked at his untouched coffee and tilted her head. "You look tired, sad." Sometimes, sitting alone makes the pain louder. Sitting with someone makes it quieter. Arif lowered his eyes. This girl, this fragile child, was speaking truths grown-ups rarely had the courage to admit. "And your dad?" he asked gently. Lara took a slow breath. "He's amazing, but also exhausted. He never says it, but I can see it. I wish I wasn't such a burden." Arif's fingers froze midair. A burden. The word he hated. The word he feared. The word he sometimes, on his darkest nights, accidentally felt about his own daughter. "You are not a burden," he said firmly. "And remember something, people who love you don't carry you, they walk beside you." Lara's eyes glistened. "No one ever told me that before," she whispered. Arif looked away to hide the emotion rising in his throat. It felt as if someone had reached into his chest and touched the raw, unspoken parts of him that he'd stopped trying to explain to anyone. After a moment, Lara opened her diary. "Arif uncle, can I tell you a story? No one listens to my stories. But I still write them." "I'd love to listen," he said. She smiled, just a little. "It's a story about a man. A man who blames himself every day, while his daughter wants to tell him only one thing, 'Dad, you're not alone.'" Arif's heart stumbled. Was this girl telling his story? Lara began reading. Her voice, soft yet steady, filled the space between them. As she spoke, the storm outside softened, as if even the sky wanted to listen. Rain faded, the world calmed, and two strangers, one broken father, one brave little girl, found a connection the universe had been trying to give them for a long time. This was only the beginning.